Hi there, it's me, Joel. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my heritage. Well, sort of. You see, I was told that I either had a Scottish or British heritage, and never been really sure on which one. And since I know more about Britain, I thought I'd look into Scotland a bit more. Seemed only natural. So, in this little speech here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about basically Scottish culture by way of food. Because everyone loves food. And this way you'll get to see a little bit more into how different people eat around the world, at least for one country. So, basically, I'm going to talk to you about, different kinds of food. I'm going to share with you different kinds of food that Scottish people eat. And maybe a little bit about the history of it. Actually, I will show you a little bit about the history of that. Because that is the first thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the history. And then after that, we're going to move on to two different kinds of food that I've selected. I've selected the Scotch pie and haggis for this presentation. I apologize if I'm butchering those names. So, let's move on to some history, shall we? So, basically, Scottish cuisine got its roots in 7000 BC in Europe when a bunch of hunter-gatherers migrated to what is now Scotland. I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of places started out, with hunter-gatherers, hunted food, gathered like berries and stuff like that. But anyway, over time, some more European and also Celtic immigrants found their way into the area of Scotland as well. And another place that they got a lot of influence from was the Vikings, because they showed them how to do things like smoke meat and other kinds of cool cooking methods. If you want to see a little bit about the area of Scotland so you can kind of see this whole thing on a map, you can check out slide number 2 in the presentation if you have that available. Alright, now that I've talked about the history, let's go into a little bit of food, shall we? So, the Scottish pies are the first thing I talk about. And no, they're not dessert. So, sorry to get your hopes up. But they are still very interesting food. Because it's a pie, obviously. Otherwise it wouldn't be called Scottish pie. And it's with mixed, it's like minced meat, and it's got like a double crust. It's kind of like a meat pie. And the crust is actually hard enough that you can hold in your hand, and it's not like messy and all that stuff, so you can eat it like that. So that's very good. And it's very popular with like takeout, like kind of like in a way fast food, I guess, like that kind of stuff, because you can just like hold it, and you don't have to have like a plate or anything, and you just eat it. So yeah. Now that I've talked a little bit about Scottish pies, I'm going to talk to you about the main dish of Scotland. They're called haggis, and they are actually the national dish of Scotland. And what it is, it's a sheep's heart, lungs, and liver, and it's like obviously cooked and everything, mixed with like minced onion, oatmeal, suet, that's how you pronounce it, I hope so, and also some spices and salt. So, yeah, that's, don't know if you find that particularly advertising, but people in Scotland do. And they also like to serve it with a side of potatoes and turnips. So, there you go for that. If you want to see what that looks like, you can check out the next slide in the list, slide number 4. Yeah. So, now, I want to tell you a little bit about the haggis, something I wanted to mention. They're actually eaten year-round, but usually they're eaten during something called a burn supper. So, there's that as well. So I get the feeling it's kind of like a special occasion pie, but it can also be eaten anytime. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, just to summarize what we've been talking about, basically, for this presentation I wanted to talk about the history of Scotland, then go into a couple of foods such as the Scotch pies and the haggis. So now I showed you some of Scotland's different kinds of food that they eat, and hopefully you got a little bit of insight into that and thought it was interesting. So I never really knew much about my Scottish heritage, if that's actually my heritage, but hopefully it is. But yeah, now I have a new window into this kind of world of Scotland. This all this food that I learned about that was previously unknown to me. So I hope you enjoyed learning about it as much as I did. So if you have any questions, always just feel free to put them out in the comments there, and I will do my best at answering them. Alright, thank you for watching. See ya.